Welcome to Join the Watch, a Game of Thrones podcast by the Straits Times. I'm your host, Jonathan Roberts, and as ever, here is your warning. We're going in spoiler heavy. No turning back now. So, before we go any further though, you can win Game of Thrones swag. It's really simple to do. You just have to go to the Straits Times YouTube channel, find this video if you're not watching it already, go to the description, answer the question, it'll be about something that happens in this show, and you could win Game of Thrones swag, courtesy of HBO Asia. This week, I am again joined by the various emissaries from the Straits Times newsroom. They may not come from Westeros or Essos, but they may have passed by Eunos, and I'm using that line under the rule of repeat until funny. I am joined by s8e2, Melissa Heng, Olivia Ho, and Harry Anzadiman. Hello.
Hello.
Wonderful. Now, those looking for action in episode 2 left sorely disappointed. This entire episode is preparation, a tease if you like, for the giant battle that's definitely going to be coming in episode 3. Fingers crossed. So, no major deaths so far, but that means that at least one person is going to cark it in the next episode. So, with that, let's play a little game of deaths.
Grey Worm is a goner 100%.
Yeah, confirm.
No chance.
Because?
They have signaled it so much, and it's almost so ham-fisted in the way that they've done it. Number one was the conversation they had. And I felt that in itself was a death sentence.
Well, everyone was having conversations today because it's purely conversations today.
That's true.
There was no action. It was all talk.
But as far as it goes, in talking about, TV tropes or movie tropes, the first person who plans to okay, after all this is over, I'm going to go to do this and go to do that. And especially if you make happy plans, I'm going to go to the beach. We will be with my people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that was Miss Andre's thing. She's talking about the beach back home.
Yeah, and obviously she wants to bring Grey Worm to go for a swim, right? So that's it. Once he showed that, yes, I would love to do that. And he said it as well, we've never seen it from him before, where he said, I'm going to put all this down. I'm done with all this, done with our queen. This is the end of the road. That's it.
Well, this is a classic of the World War II movies.
Yeah.
The little soldier who's, so what are you going to do after war, Johnny? Well, I'm going back home.
The picture
I've got the picture of my girl, my Mary Sue, and I'm going to buy a farm, and we're going to raise kids, and then we're going to bang, right in the middle of the forehead, usually first to die.
Yes,
so
100%.
For that, we're going to put Grey Worm and Miss Andre quite high in the list of potential deaths next week. If it's not one, it's going to be the other.
Yeah.
Also, they shared the kiss. Thank you, s8e2, for those wise words about those about to die, but they're not the only ones. Olivia, we had Theon making a shock return.
So Theon comes back, and the first person he goes to see is Sansa, with whom he has, has a rapport because they're the only two people left to fully understand what it has been like to have lived with Ramsay Bolton. And
they know pain.
Yes, and therefore they've shared this rather surprising connection for me, I think. But that was the first time this episode we've really seen Sansa, let her emotional wall down, and she runs to hug Theon, and in front of Daenerys, who she's been so careful to keep her wall up around, and therefore, this whole redemption arc just sort of indicates to me that Theon is going to cop it in the next episode, particularly when he says that he is going to defend Bran at the Godswood with his Ironborn, and that's just kind of a signal for the Night King.
Because Bran claims he's the target of the Night King. Yeah. So they're going to put him out as bait to some extent. Bran bait. And then Theon says, I'll defend him.
Yes, because he shows such a great record of doing that before,
Sure. Sure. But you did have the pretty surprising hug from Sansa, quite an emotional. I mean, it wasn't just surprising in front of Dany. I mean, I was shocked by it.
Yeah.
I've never seen her react like that towards him before.
And in the final montage of couples spending their time together, we get the shot of Theon and Sansa just sitting there, fiddling with stuff.
Sharing soup?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the target is definitely on Theon there. It was also a big episode for Brienne of Tarth. Melissa?
Yeah, so I really think that Brienne is going to die in the next episode. Just because I think in this episode, things kind of went really well for her, right? You see her get to meet Jaime again. She stands up for him. They have their little friendship moment. And then when they come into that room in the fireplace where there's all of them there. She gets knighted. Jamie says, like, you know, another knight can also bestow the honor. At first, although she kind of like, no, maybe I don't need it, but you can see it in her eyes that this is something she has dreamed of.
Always wanted.
Yeah, she's always wanted. And I think to give her that, and we know that she's going to lead the left flank,
Yes,
right,
yeah.
in the battle. So she's going to be right up front in the battle. So now that she has got her moment of glory, right, I think she's primed. Yeah.
She can die happy, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I refuse to allow that. No.
Why?
If Brienne dies, then we lose the best ship in the show.
No.
Brienne
Yes.
and
No,
Tommen.
the best ship is still Kenya. Nope.
No,
Hang
I
on,
think
enough
they
with
will
your
get
Kenya.
their moment
No.
on the battlefield. So all this time, right, she's been reacting to Tommen like super awkwardly. She doesn't know how to react with him, right? Because he's so upfront about his love for
Yeah,
her.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's going like, I don't get this guy. He's so
His
weird.
first words when he gets back to Winterfell is the big woman still here?
But I
Yeah,
think
eyes on the
that-
prize. He always eyes on the prize.
I think that once they fight together, right, then that's when she'll like kind of respect him also. So I think I'm looking forward to like them on the battlefield together.
Well, it's not just one ship, is it? It's two ships. Because there's
Yeah.
Brienne and Jamie.
Oh, yeah, it's a
or Brienne
triangle.
and
Triangle.
Tormund.
Yeah.
A shipping triangle.
Yeah.
But I think this episode, Gwendoline Christie, was just the best. Every little nuance that she was acting, the wobble of the lip when she was being knighted, just perfection. Absolutely brilliant. Of course, one of the more surprising deaths would be Tyrion.
Exactly, I agree.
I believe someone, Arianto, has some views on how Tyrion might die next episode.
Yes,
So,
I do. Okay, the thing is, I know you guys don't agree.
Yeah. No.
Right? All of you all don't agree. I still stand strong that yes, Tyrion is going to die simply because right from episode 1, we see, you know, he's been foreshadowing his death with whatever he says. And in this episode, he was just walking with Dany in front, and then Dany says, "Oh, I trusted you," and all that. Eventually, it ended off with the conversation between him and Varys and Jorah, right? Yeah. And then he says, "Oh, at the end of it all, one of you is going to take over as Hand of the King or Queen," right?
yeah.
I thought that foreshadowed, so that's one. And then the second one would be when he had this conversation saying that he's going to go back to the King's Landing and tear Cersei into bits.
As a white.
As a white,
Yes.
exactly, that. And then the third one would be in the room as well. They were having wine and they were chit-chatting, having fun. And then you see that, you know, he was still holding on to that glimmer of hope for whatever reason to say that, yeah, we will actually eventually survive. And then everybody kind of just snorted and like... didn't
well, it's
quite
that
believe
tone change, isn't it?
That- yeah.
It's that kind of gallows humor of,
Exactly.
"Hey, look, we're all going to die."
Exactly.
And then just say, you know, actually, I think we can make it. And as
Yeah.
soon as someone says, "I think we can make it,"
Bam.
that's when,
Exactly, and I've said it right. Like, I think he has reached his arc. Like, you know, he has served his purpose of bringing them together, and then, you know, the fact that he has, I don't know, somehow became stupid, you know, with his
But
decisions.
precisely because of that, he needs to go back up.
Yes.
Precisely because of his
Exactly.
stupidity, he's going to die.
So he has made stupid decisions, and that's very not Tyrion. Tyrion is, I still believe, the smartest character
Yeah.
in the book, in the series as
And
well.
Varys as well.
And so he needs to have that arc where he reclaims that position.
Okay,
because
he reclaims and dies.
He's just had this endless dissing. Sansa last week was like, "I thought you were the smartest person I knew," but clearly not. And then, so he needs to get that. He needs to do something really intelligent at least before he dies.
So you agree he'll die?
Eventually, but not in the next episode. I don't think there's time for that.
well,
What if
I
he
would
still
counter
die?
that by saying that
Okay.
either he redeems himself as the smartest person in the room,
Right.
or it is revealed that all the stupid things he had done, there's some insidious reason behind it. And he doesn't die, he gets killed.
Whatever it is, I mean, he's just gonna
You just want to see
get
him
out.
die.
I just want to
see
see
him die.
exactly, because the thing is,
you
everybody
have a
likes
major
him.
death wish for too many characters.
No, okay. Everybody likes Tyrion. We all agree on that.
Yes.
But you see, the thing with this is that, you know, the characters you like, they just die. And that's how life is, right?
Well, speaking of which, next episode, we are calling it that a big character has to die to give the whole thing stakes.
Yeah.
Now, there may be a little squeal of anguish when I say this. I think it could be either Arya
No.
or Gendry?
No!
I told you,
no!
there's the cry.
It's not their time yet.
It's not that time yet.
Yes, but going off the horror movie trope, those who have sex get killed straight away. And Arya and Gendry got it on. After some sickening googly eyes and sickening flirting earlier on, it was
sickening.
It wasn't,
awful.
okay.
It was
as bad
so
as what was in
rom-com.
episode 1.
But yeah, I reckon Arya or Gendry is due for the chop next episode.
Or they could be the power couple.
No,
that save
no.
all of them.
Look,
Think about it.
Gendry
No,
is
think
cool
about it.
If you wanna
She
be
is a
power couple,
fighter.
you gotta be 6
He
feet
is a
and
maker
above.
of weapons. Perfect combination.
Hang on, don't
They will
forget,
rule the world.
next episode is 88 minutes? 80, around there? 80,
Around there.
around
More than
88
80
minutes.
minutes.
That's feature movie length already.
Yep.
That's a lot of time to have a lot of people hanging around. So that's who we think is going to cop it in episode 3, potentially. There is a lot of other stuff that happened in this episode, though, despite no action. Dany and Sansa. This was a summit meeting. The two big powers. You can't really count Jon. He's clearly just confused.
Yeah,
he
you
doesn't
just
want
can't-
any
yeah.
of it.
Jon will
These
die.
are the superpowers. Dany, Sansa, they have a heart-to-heart. This was a tension builder.
I think this is actually my favorite scene from
Yes.
from this episode because
Really?
the two of them, both very well dressed women. I know that
Yeah.
versus
Super love their outfits.
that leather, the Sansa's leather corset.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if I could have that. Anyway, so because the two of them have been set against each other, and with Jon in between, and to have them come and Dany, you know, decide to step forward and extend the olive branch to Sansa, and you know, sort of complimentary even, and she's like, I think you're really intelligent, and Sansa is like, yeah, okay. But you know, so Daenerys is expressing respect for Sansa, and they're almost about to come to a sort of entente, you know, where we thought that she was going to offer Sansa a place on her
Yeah.
council,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
we didn't get there because there's one thing that Sansa is still holding out for, and that is for the freedom of the North, and Daenerys is not ready to give that yet, and so she had a hand on Sansa's. And then Sansa said, "What about the North?" And Daenerys just withdraws it.
It was like a snap, and I felt like the way they showed it, there might be more to it than or maybe they're just trying to kind of signal to us that this is going to come back, this conversation is going to come back, or
Yeah, I
something
definitely
that
think so.
Well,
I
this is the big change in Daenerys,
Yeah.
as we've been discussing. It's mentioned twice about how she's not really going to get the full 7 kingdoms
Yeah.
or the throne at all. Jon, stupidly, although do we have to say stupidly, it's what he does naturally. Jon decides the best moment to break it to his girlfriend stroke aunt that he's actually above her in the ranking is 5 minutes before the White Walkers arrive at Winterfell, which of course, I mean, why wouldn't you want to cause a rift just before you go into battle together? He tells Daenerys that he is Aegon Targaryen, 6th of his name. She does not take it very well at all. Further to what we were saying last week, this seems like more seeds germinating of the Mad Queen being Daenerys rather than Cersei.
I think what happened immediately after he said it and her response, I thought that was very telling as well. The first thing that came to her mind was, hey, what happens to our relationship? That was not what she said. She said, that means, you know, you're above me in the ranking, as you said. And I feel it shows where her head's at. And I don't know, like, you know.
Well, actually, the
Jon-
first thing that she said was, who told you this?
Yeah.
So your weird brother and your best friend who's got no evidence for this, and you're going to believe them.
So you feel that she is also in denial in some way?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
So this is where the big rift is going to come.
Yeah, I think she's definitely changed in where her motivations are. I think in earlier seasons we could see that she wanted to rule and she wanted to take leadership. A lot of it was because she wanted revenge, but she also wanted to save people, right? She wanted to free the slaves. She wanted to be this good queen
She
ruler.
wanted to break the wheel.
Yes.
But now she is becoming the wheel.
Yes, correct. And then now everything she says and she does shows that she has this sense of entitlement. She deserves the throne.
Yeah.
She wants the 7 kingdoms. So every time somebody is impinging on that dream, right, then she's like, why are you trying to take this away from me? This is rightfully mine. So that happens with Sansa. When Sansa says, you know, we fought for the north, we've reclaimed it. What happens to the north? And then she's like, I thought it was already mine. And same for when like Jon is talking to her. The first question she asks is not, you know, what's going to happen, what does that mean for us or whatever. The first question is, can you prove it? And like, what are you going to do about it? Like, because I still want to be queen.
Well, her eyes said, hell no. They were wide-eyed and she was like, no, this is not happening. I've already got your sister saying she wants the north, and now she doesn't have a leg to stand on, or a throne to sit on, even.
I don't know. I feel like you made a good point about, you know, her dreaming about the throne.
Yeah.
And we had that exact dream, I think, season 2?
Yep.
And that in that scene, what happened was she went to take the throne and then she turns away. So I don't know how I feel about this Mad Queen thing. I feel like maybe it's, once again, it's a red herring. You know, they're building her up to be like this person who's going to be power mad, but maybe we'll do the right thing in the end.
But in our death stakes, do you not think there might be a part in the battle in episode 3 where she decides, you know, I could just off Jon right now, nudge him off the dragon, which is your original thing, right? He's going to fall from a dragon.
Yep.
And, you know, possibly just get rid of Jon in the midst of battle. Who would know any different?
Yeah.
And then, hey, she's still a queen.
Correct.
I think
It
there's a
would be.
possibility that there would be that moment, and then we would see how ambitious she actually is when she hesitates to whether or not she should save Jon. But I think that then, like, her love for him is real. That is what will make her still save him.
Do you think she's actually in love with him?
Yes.
Never mind the
Really?
fact that
Yes.
she is the aunt.
Yeah.
Well, that aside, I mean, that's
It doesn't
Targaryen.
bother
That's just really Targaryen.
In
But
the
do you honestly
fantasy
think that she's in love with him?
Yeah.
I think he's in love with her. I don't know that she's in love
Oh,
with him.
he's definitely in love with her, but I think she is in love with him as well. She's taken on a lot of his advice, a lot of
She
what
listened to
he
Tyrion
wants to
before,
do.
and she listens to Jorah today.
Yeah, but she doesn't sleep with them.
Oh.
Okay.
I have to say though that this part, you know, this episode, I quite sympathize with Jon actually. You know, I know all this while I want Jon to die and then da-da-da. But this episode, okay, I kind of sympathize with him because, you know, his interaction or the lack of it actually with Daenerys, this episode is quite telling, right? That he was trying his best to avoid her and all that. And I think, you know, the dilemma is, of course, one, how do I tell Dany that I am the rightful heir, as it were? And then secondly also, I think he probably has figured it out that Daenerys is his aunt. And I know in this world, in this, you know, Game of Thrones world, it doesn't matter, right, whether it's ancestral or not, but the fact that Jon has always had this moral compass that he follows. So,
Well, the Starks aren't the Targaryens.
yeah, and that too as well, right? So I think he's also battling with that as well, that, you know, oh man, I just, you know, slept with my aunt.
It was also a big episode for Jaime Lannister. Such a big change from season 1. Of course, he met his victim of the window push in Bran. He reunited with Brienne, and yeah, he's a changed man. He is a humbled man. He comes close to getting the chop in the first 5 minutes of the episode, thanks to Daenerys' hypocritical idea of, well, you killed my family, why shouldn't I kill you? Olivia, what do you feel about Jaime?
Well, I rewatched the first season, and I had forgotten how horrible Jaime was. He was, you know, even after Cersei says to him, "What if the boy wakes up and he discovers that, and he tells everyone that we were sleeping together?" He's like, "Then I'll just kill them all. It's fine." But you know, and then to have him come back and to meet Bran again, and Bran's just casually reminding him of this. He's like, the things we do for love. That was a real shade thrown there by Bran. But he's come really far. He's shown himself to be a character of empathy, and I think his connection with Brienne as well is is I think I wouldn't want to say that it was the catalyst for what changed him. I wouldn't want to reduce Brienne to being a catalyst for someone else's redemption arc, but at the same time, their relationship has been something truly beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
And leading up to the knighting scene, which I think at the beginning we were a bit uncertain about. We thought it might have been slightly condescending because Brienne has, always been like, oh, I don't need to be knighted. It's that would be submitting to the patriarchy. But then when they actually did it, it didn't come across as that because they're such fantastic actors.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Jaime, going, oh yes, now I invest you with the trappings of systemic patriarchy. It was Jaime recognizing that he had been part of this system, which was broken, and he had done so many terrible things in the name of this system, and now he's got the chance to do this one good thing, which is just make this woman, to realize what she's always dreamed of.
Oh man, that pushes Jaime quite high up in the
on
top
the
of the
list,
game
yeah,
of
on the
death.
death list
then.
actually, yeah.
But I thought there's so many wonderful scenes with Jaime and Brienne. I thought when after he's talking to Tyrion on the parapet, and Tyrion turns around and he's gone, and Jaime's running up and running alongside Brienne like a schoolboy in love. He's eager. He's not this swaggering, idiot who's just like, yeah, well, how are you doing?
Kingslayer.
He's like, oh, hi, Brienne, how are you doing?
No.
Do you mind if I come along?
No, so I didn't see it that way as he was trying to. Like, I didn't see him as a schoolboy chasing her.
Oh, it's a man with a crush. A man so happy to
Really?
see someone else. There was something real puppy dog about it.
For me, it's more of like he knows when the last he saw her was when he lost his hand, and like Olivia was saying, like she has been there for him at his worst or at his lowest, right? So she's also seen him turn from this sort of douchey character into who he is today, someone that we all are cheering for, right? And I think for him it was sort of just paying her back for what she has done for him, because when he came to Winterfell, she was the one who stuck her neck out for him and say, yeah, I'll vouch for this
She
guy.
essentially saved his life again.
Yeah. So I think when he got down from the parapet and went to talk to her, saying, I heard you're taking the left flank, can I fight with you? I think that was his way of saying...
Under your command, right? That's what he said. Exactly,
under your command. I think that's him acknowledging her for who she is and saying that I respect that and I honor that, and yeah.
There is one other aspect of today's episode, one that has divided us as a panel, one that could almost start a war between us. It was a very talky episode. There were some cute moments, some cuter than others. In fact, there was comedy. It was possibly the funniest episode of Game of Thrones there has ever been. And with that, it is now my least favourite episode of Game of Thrones. It did not work for me.
What?
Okay.
Throws to comedy.
It does not work for me. Please have at it. Why am I wrong?
No, I think it's because they're all preparing for the big battle in episode 3, right? And this is their last moments together. You just want to keep it lighthearted. You just want to look at the positive. Yeah, right? Before you go on.
It's a standard, I feel once again, standard TV trope that, before it gets very, very terrible.
Oh, it can be light-hearted. It can be lighter than the battle, of course. But this was outright comedy. Parts of this were a rom-com.
No, it wasn't
The
like
rom-com was bad,
slapstick. It wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't slapstick.
Yeah, so
No, it doesn't have to be slapstick, but it was out-and-out jokes. There was funny quips from all sides coming in.
are you opposed to jokes?
But you see, the thing is, I think it sets up for the next episode. Like I feel okay, now we really connect with the characters, and we've seen them, and and have this, I don't know, sort of like an emotional connection to them, and then eventually in episode 3 later on, then that's when they start dying one by one, including Jon Snow. See how I slipped that in? Then the impact will be there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think these are also characters. These are people who know that their deaths are coming.
Yeah.
Or that death is coming, right?
Yeah.
They all know what's at stake. They all know the White Walkers and what that means. So I think the jokes and the resolving of relationships
Yeah.
and the even having like one night together, all of that, right? It's the way people
Cope,
react,
yeah,
and it's
and
the way
cope,
people
it's-
cope.
yeah.
So even though it might be kind of a trope or it might be kind of cliche, I think it's fine. It's good.
I didn't mind Tormund's ridiculous horn, or indeed his ridiculous story, or indeed his ridiculous way that he drank from the horn.
Right. Okay, so
Everything
which
else
parts? Which
just-
parts?
Which
Which
were-
comedy?
which
Yeah,
comedy
Okay,
could you
comedy
I
part,
really
yeah.
didn't like Arya and Gendry
Oh,
in the Forge
please. Gendry is
because
the best.
that was so rom-com. There were loads of other bits that were just like, really? Do you need? It felt like the production worrying that we can't have just an hour of drama and then just knee-jerking and say, okay, put lots of funny lines in. Give everyone a funny line to say.
Good lines. Good lines.
Some of them were.
I mean, did you not love the part where the Hound threatens to throw Beric Dondarrion off the wall?
Oh, all right.
And he was
Yeah.
like, it's
Yes.
turning into
I think
a...
that was the only bit that was in character. I think that's what you would say.
Yeah, because it's the Hound, and he
right.
casually threatens violence on people all the time, and it's very amusing.
And he threw in a reference to the Red Wedding without even intending to, I think.
Did
Yeah.
he?
Yes, he was like, it's turning into a bloody wedding.
Oh yes,
Right,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
That's the line I didn't like. it seemed too modern. It seemed to, that's the kind of thing that you have at a modern wedding. That, all these people turning
As
up.
opposed to a Game of Thrones wedding where everyone dies, which is what's happening next episode.
Anyway, I thought it should have ended with a theme song from Friends. It was that squirming with comedy. Well, that is where we'll leave it for this episode. Do join us again after episode 3, where we will have discussed, cogitated, and probably argued over the events of the big battle against the White Walkers. Until then, and another episode of Join the Watch, Vala Mugulis.